Hey guys, this is Patty B within the Holler. I got another firearm I'd like to share with y'all. This is the Sig P320 X5 Legion, chambered in 9mm. Go ahead and make sure she's clear. Yeah, the P320 X5 Legion's a polymer and tungsten framed striker fired competition style pistol based on the Sig P320 platform. I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy Archer. He let me borrow this pistol for this review. The P320 has been around for quite a while now, and been adopted by various law enforcement agencies and militaries, to include the U.S. military, albeit with some controversy, some issues with inadvertent firing and stuff like that. Not really going to cover that in this, but yeah, the Legion is just the upgraded version of the P320, with several features, with the competition sports in mind. Hit the specs on this. It's got a 5-inch barrel. It weighs 44.7 ounces with this optic and an empty 21 round magazine. This typically comes with 17 round mags, but I've already upgraded to the 21 rounders. We'll hit the features on this. This lower polymer tungsten infused grip, is really heavy. It by itself, I think it weighed 23 ounces. So like just the lower grip weighs what a Glock 19 weighs. But he does have some Talon grips on here, but the factory traction on it wasn't too bad. Feels pretty good in your hand. Nice big mag well for those fast reloads. Controls on this, you do have ambi slide stop, slide release. Trigger on this thing, pretty darn excellent. To me, about as good as it comes for a striker fired gun. A little take up, and boom. See the reset. A little farther out than some, but man, really good trigger. This and then like the Canic Rival are probably two of my favorite striker fired triggers. Maybe the Smith & Wesson Competition. About as good as you can get, for a striker fire. Excellent trigger. You do have a squared off trigger guard with a little traction if you like to put a finger out there. And of course you have an accessory rail out here. Slide on this, pretty decent. You got some little forward cuts, rear cuts. You do have some lightning cuts here. The sights, front fiber. Now since he does have an optic on here, he did have to remove the rear sight for his setup. But the original factory sight is a windage and elevation adjustable blacked out rear with the front fiber. The OptiCut is the Delta Point Pro, but he's got the Hall of Sun SCS mounted directly to it, so no plate involved, which is always pretty nice. Get it as low as you can. The takedown on this pistol, pretty simple, about like every other Sig. Make sure she's clear, lock the slide to the rear, rotate your disassembly lever down, and it comes right off. Pretty simple stuff. I have fired this before. I probably have maybe 50 rounds through it at the most. And initial impression off the first 50 is this thing is pretty awesome. But going to take it outside, over the next day or so, and we're going to put a bunch of rounds through it. We'll come back in and, see what we think about this thing. All right, we're back here about 10-12 yards. I've got some Remington 115 grain full metal jackets. See how they hit. And the optic is sighted in for my buddy, so we'll just make sure it hits good for me too. All right, looks like it's hitting pretty darn close. The recoil on this, probably due to the weight, it's just really, really nice. Just really light recoil. All right, backed on up to 15 yards or so. See how she does. All right, that trigger, pretty darn good. And then, you know, when you got a red dot on there, it makes shooting a little bit easier distance anyways. But so you got a good sight and a good trigger. Usually means you're going to shoot it pretty well. And this thing's fairly easy to shoot pretty good. All right, let's put some rounds on that 25-yard plate and see what we can do at 40. All right, I missed one in there, but you know, pretty darn good trigger, and you know, red dot certainly helps. All right, back inside from shooting the X5 Legion. Make sure she's clear. And yeah, this is a pretty impressive handgun. Really easy to shoot well, really easy to shoot fast. You know, the 320s are kind of a high bore axis gun, but you know, it just came back down to where you're aiming so fast. You know, the weight probably helps. You know, 43 ounces, I think. You know, a 9mm doesn't recoil much, but this thing just tracks so well. The slide is super smooth. You can just take one finger and push that slide all the way to the rear like it's nothing. Just really slick. Excellent trigger. You know, this trigger's so good, which, you know, that's always going to be an asset when you're trying to shoot. Usually the lighter the trigger, the less margin for you to make an error in pulling it. The sights, like I said, the rear sight's gone on this, but that rear sight from the factory is excellent. Of course, having a red dot, you know, I'm okay with them up close, but they really shine when you're trying to shoot a little bit farther. And this thing was no exception. Really, really accurate, really soft to shoot, and just a whole lot of fun. The standard P320s, you know, I've got some experience with them, and they've always been fine guns, never always my favorite. You know, I don't like the taller bore axis of them, but I've never had any issues with it. But this thing just takes it to another level. This thing is a blaster, and you know, you got 21 round mags. Let me tell you, it didn't take a whole long time for 250 rounds to disappear, because it's so much fun, and you just want to blast all day with this bad boy. Magwell, pretty awesome. Makes reloading so much easier. Everything about this gun, you know, just screams and wants to go fast, and well, it does. You know, maybe not with me shooting it, but you know, put this in the hands of a competitor, and man, this thing would scream for sure. But yeah, I'm kind of jealous of my buddy. I'm kind of thinking about buying one of these now, just because I enjoy shooting this so much. You know, and it stacks up pretty well against other guns that, you know, in its price range. You know, the Canic Rival's a little bit cheaper, but I think this thing's a little bit better. The Smith & Wesson Competitor cost about the same as this, and boy, it holds its own against that for sure. I've got a CZ TS2, and I think I like this just as much as I like that, even though it's got a better trigger on the CZ. Might be able to shoot this a little bit quicker, but definitely an awesome gun. And you know, if you're considering this, there's no way I could tell you not to, because this thing's just pretty awesome. Well, there you go, guys. Sig P320 X5 Legion. Y'all have a nice day.